All right, welcome back to Impossible versus Matches, the Halloween Spooktacular edition. Joining
Ooh.
me is my good friend Preston. Preston, say hello.
Hola.
And a happy Halloween from both of us. We are engaging in our second round of Halloween specials. I've already done a recording session with Eden. I'm going to do a recording session with Preston now. If you don't know the rules, you should have been here already, because there's more than 30 episodes to catch up on.
You got a whole pandemic's worth of episodes to catch up on.
That's right. You've been slacking if you haven't been listening.
For
Put them on
real.
while you're doing the dishes. Put them on, while you're doing some chores or something. Not going to hurt you. While you're cooking dinner, why not? Um,
Yeah, are you afraid to enjoy things? Come on.
yeah, don't be afraid, except on Halloween.
Ooh.
Ooh. Um, but yeah, for this Halloween special, rules are changing a little bit. We're doing one scenario per episode. It's just going to be one long recording session. I'm going to chop them up and just put them up one by one. Um, the rules of the usual episodes still apply, where if they crossed over before, like in fiction, then we're not doing it. No things that are talked about a lot. So if we somehow end up with a Freddy versus Jason, we're not doing that. However, any horror character that has been used before is able to be reused during these. And since they're all Halloween themed, every horror character that is used, unless they've been used before, can appear again during our regular episodes. So it's almost like it's not canon, but it's not.
Kind of canon.
Kind of canon, yes. If they're non-horror, then they've been used. But if they are horror, then they can come back at any time.
Well, do I dare say candy canon?
Ooh, don't say that 5 times in the mirror, or
Oh.
Candy Cannon's gonna come and get you. But yeah, so this time Preston and I have two lists, a horror list and a non-horror list. What we're going to do is we're going to start scenarios with horror versus horror, and then we're going to do some horror versus non-horror to mix things up a bit. Preston, as usual, you are the guest, so would you like to start things off, or would you like me to start things off?
Oh, Joe, I've been waiting for some Halloween themed scenarios from you, my man. So I would love it if you started us off.
Okay, fair enough. So go ahead, spin your horror wheel, and tell me who you got. I'll let you
Oh,
know if we did it in the in Eden's recording session.
sounds good. Oh man, all right, sounds good. This one's a fairly new one. These are the zombies from the movie Train to Busan,
Okay,
the
go
same
ahead.
realm of the Peninsula, which is the sequel to that initial film.
All right, go ahead and give myself and the audience a little rundown of those characters real quick.
Yeah, for sure. So for those of you who don't know, that's a Korean zombie flick. I think came out in 2018. And those zombies are, I'm gonna say, like just a little bit step down from. I mean, they're definitely more grounded zombies. Not quite Walking Dead. They're more fresh individuals. Not quite Walking or World War Z, but like somewhere right in the middle. And honestly, these movies are fantastic because they're just super solidly grounded, like post-apocalyptic films, but like not quite post-apocalyptic, like right in the midst of the shit going on. You know what I mean?
Okay, okay. Are they like the fast ones? Like, can they run?
Well, they range, honestly. You know what I mean? It's like it depends about how the infection more or less affects the person. You know, so like an old person's gonna probably be a little bit more rejuvenated. Somebody of a younger state will probably just be like hyper aggressive.
I see.
Um, Other ones, depending on if they're like injured and dying out, they're just gonna be like slow and not as crazy, but like there's a level of intensity to these zombies, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's like somewhere in between The Walking Dead and World War Z.
So it's like some advanced zombies, but they're definitely not your typical graveyard variety.
I would say you ever seen the movie The Crazies?
No, I have not.
Oh shit, son, that's another one you got to see. That's got my boy Timothy Olyphant in there. That one's kind of like more or less like infection, just makes people go ravenous and cannibalistic, just crazy angry. A little bit extended longevity in regards to physical sustainability, um, and like the government finally intervenes. Like super solid, just like zombie flick. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so it's like it's kind of like that, but you definitely get more of a zombie feel from these ones in the Train to Busan
Okay.
uh, Peninsula universe.
So these are Korean.
Yes.
Okay. So the character that they're going against now, this is interesting because this, I believe, is our first horde of characters
Oh, okay.
that we've had to deal with at all on the show. Versus one person. We've had team ups before, but never like a horde of people versus one. Um,
All right.
this is
Mix it
Al.
up.
The character I've got is Alex DeLarge from Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange,
Yo.
which technically, while not really a horror movie, has horrific aspects to it.
Oh, very shocking psychological thriller for
Yeah.
sure.
I qualify it. I feel like that's definitely worth it. And either way, he is, a bad dude. So,
Oh, he is a bad man, bro. I feel like he would probably take on these zombies with open arms.
oh yeah, that's what I was about to say. Alex DeLarge, for those who don't know, are in the hard to stomach and hard to adjust to, but very good movie, A Clockwork Orange. Um, Fun fact: after Pulp Fiction, it is the poster that every film student must have. Um, but it's a very good movie. It's very hard to get used to because of like the weird like British slang way that they talk. But and it's also very shocking. The character Alex DeLarge himself is guilty of theft. He's guilty of murder, beatings, rape,
Oh yeah, pretty much the whole.
kidnapping. Yeah, like any sort of like crime, he's probably committed it. The only thing he probably doesn't do in the well, no, I'd say he vandalizes some stuff too in the movie as well. Um, Definitely commits a murder, and he just loves it. He's basically just an absolute degenerate.
Mm,
And he's got his droogies, which are his like his posse, which kind of follow him, but they eventually turn on him because he's that much of a dick. Like when you're such a bad dude that even the guys that follow you and commit all these crimes with you are like, maybe he's gone too far, and
yeah,
like
you've reached a line.
you've definitely fallen off the far deep end. But the whole point of the movie is that he does eventually get caught and then he gets rehabilitated. But then like the point is kind of like, is he really like better off rehabilitated? Because sometimes in some aspects he's like worse off after the treatment than he was before. Um, and then I guess it's kind of leaves it open ended. Like, is it better to get rid of someone that's so like horrible, or is it better to like be yourself? I guess. It's a very open ended. Like, let yourself decide like the fate of this character in the movie. Um, but by the end, it's kind of implied that he kind of goes back to his like sin and debauchery and degenerate behavior. Um, but how do they meet? How does this happen? Uh, well, let's say that there's a super ambitious project that's going to happen because where the train to Busan becomes the train across the continent. So like basically, because I could see this being corporations and like innovation is usually a very used trope in Asian cinema a lot. Like a lot of Godzilla movies are like, hey, man has created this new thing and it's pretty crazy. I wonder how this is going to mess up. Lots of science and stuff happens, in the Far East, I'd say. You think so?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, in this one, maybe not so much.
Well,
They it's fairly grounded in this one, but I mean, like, I think like later on, it gets a little bit more crazy.
okay. Well, then I'm going to say that for this particular scenario, let's say that a corporation, the one that runs the actual, train, like the literal train, decides to do this super ambitious project of making a train that can go all the way from Korea and like the far eastern world all the way to the west. Because why not? This is impossible versus matches. This is the kind of shit we do. Um, so we get over to so it goes to England, and now tell me about, are the zombies actually, the zombies are on the train, yeah?
Yeah, so they end up infiltrating the train, and it kind of ends up being like a quarantine type situation. It follows more or less this father trying to bring his kids to Busan,
Okay.
like right in the midst of this outbreak kind of happening. So
Okay,
it's just like they're great because it's just like right in the midst of the eradication type thing. You know what I mean? And done right.
I see. So the zombies are on the train, right? And now basically the zombies are on a one-way nonstop trip to England, where Alex DeLarge happens to be, and he's there sitting in the bar drinking the milk plus with his droogies. Um, and this is how they talk in the movie. I'm not just,
Oh yeah, no.
but so the train arrives, and it's of course it starts a bloodbath in England because now there are zombies in England,
Hmm.
and they're going around, killing all the people. And Alex hears this. He's like, "Oh, me lovelies, viddy this." That means, hey everybody, look at this. Um, it, it looks like I'm in the mood for a bit of the old ultra violence.
Ultra violence, mate.
A bit of ultra violence laced in milk plus. Going to go and have a jolly good time. We are have a bit of a giggle. Um, so Alex and his three other dudes um go out, and at first it's all fun and games because they're like, yeah, we can take this, but then like the zombies get like increasing in numbers, and slowly the rest of his group are not as they're not as enthusiastic about this because they're starting to realize the actual like threat that this is posing.
Hmm.
So they kind of ditch him, but he's like, all right, you lot, fine, run if you want. I have plenty of the old stabbings here, or something like that. Which the translation is like, okay, fine, I don't need you. I can definitely do this myself. Um, so there are zombies coming, and he's just ready for the old ultra violence, and he's having a grand old time. Basically, it's a oh crap, it's like Dead Rising pretty much, but it's Alex DeLarge instead,
Okay.
and he's just like going through hordes, and he's not going to make it. I mean, he's just like a 22-year-old dude. Um, so
He's just basically smack talking him the whole time, just like, "Oh, you cheeky cunt, you good? You good?" And you know.
yeah, just singing in the rain. Um, which if you've seen the movie, you don't want him to be singing in the rain. Um, but
No, You definitely don't.
Yeah, that's probably the most disturbing part in the movie. That solidifies it as a horror movie for most people. Uh,
Oh yeah, definitely.
yeah, but yeah, so he pretty much he has a good time before, let's face it, eventually succumbing to the zombie apocalypse.
The Zimbos get him.
Yep, and but he went, but like you said earlier, he goes into this with open arms, and he's like he's ready for it because he can always fancy a bit of the ultra violence.
Oh hell yeah! And he probably it tickled his fancy. Very good.
Jolly good time, jolly good.
Well,
But
that's pretty solid.
yeah, that's a pretty solid thing. I mean, Alex DeLarge in the zombie apocalypse. Um, that
I,
sounds like an honestly like solid topic we could probably explore another time, is like just taking fictional characters and putting them in the zombie apocalypse.
dude, that would be sick.
That
That is actually. I think he would last a fair good time, and he would go down like a true nobleman,
Yep. Or degenerate.
or well, degenerately noble.
Yeah, maybe you know what? Maybe we can do that as like a one-off, just like a we spin the wheel and decide how these people will survive a zombie apocalypse. That could be fun.
That would be.
Um, but yeah, I think that'll do it for that little segment. In this next part, Preston's going to go with his scenario.
Right on, man. You gonna give me a spin there?
Yes, I will.